Good day and thank you for joining CivilNet. Mines have been a problem in Armenia for a long time, especially after the ceasefire in Nagorno-Karabakh, and consequently demining is an issue now. And Halo Trust is working in Karabakh for a while, for years now. It continues to be an issue. There have been as many as 370 civilian casualties since 1995 from mines, and we're not only talking about cattle or land that's not being used to grow anything. Well, today we're talking about that, and we're talking about a very specific program, and my guests are Anahit, Galstyan, Country Director of One Armenia. One Armenia is an NGO that mainly fundraise for other organizations, NGOs, and programs, and Boddy, you're the program manager in Artsakh for Halo Trust. So welcome to CivilNet. How are you guys collaborating? What's happening? Maybe you start with the problem, maybe Anahit continues with what you guys are doing. Sure.
Yeah, that's fine. So the Halo Trust has been working in Nagorno-Karabakh since 1995, and we've been there full-time since 2000, and we're the largest humanitarian operator in Karabakh, and we're one of the country's largest employers. We have been working on clearing the debris of war, and we do that through the employment of Karabakhi national staff.
How many do you have employees?
At the moment we've got approximately 170, and we recruit and train people locally from the communities generally in which they will then conduct clearance. And we have to date cleared over 450 minefields and returned them back into safe and productive use, and we think there's 101 remaining to be cleared, and that's a totally achievable goal.
So when you say minefields, what do you, how many mines are we talking about in general, or what's the area that we're talking about?
The area that we're talking about is relatively finite. We're not talking about large open areas with very few mines in them. The minefields that we deal with are generally quite small, they're quite contained, with relatively few mines. But we think in fact, we have a commitment from an anonymous donor who is currently offering to match dollar for dollar donations to get Nagorno-Karabakh mine-free by 2020.
That's 2020. That's one of your aims, 100% mine-free by 2020. That's feasible?
Absolutely it is. Now, we're talking about minefields that are impacting the civilian community. We're not talking about minefields which have been deemed necessary by the authorities for whatever reason. We're talking about minefields that are affecting civilians' daily life. It's absolutely achievable.
Anahit, how does One Armenia come in, and what are you collaborating on?
One Armenia comes in because we crowdfund, so we get donations from however many people choose to donate to our campaigns. On average, it's around 300 people. And Ash actually came to Impact Hub, where our office is, and Halo is also a member, did a presentation about the project, and we saw it as a fantastic opportunity to assist them with their fundraising goals. So currently our goal is $96,000, and we're at 40% already of that fundraising goal. We thought it would be a great way to engage the community around this cause and get rid of the landmines in the area, which is stopping people from cultivating that particular area of land. We tend to do a lot of projects in agricultural development, and we thought once the land is cleared, then people will be able to use it for livestock or, I don't know, fruit picking or whatever it is that they can take advantage of in that area.
So 96,000, and which will be matched?
96,000 is the overall goal with the matching as well.
With the matching as well. So if I understand it right, so we're talking about the Lachin Corridor this time.
That's right. That's right.
Why Lachin, and how did it kind of like stay outside of the general work that you've done so far?
Well, we have done clearance, specifically in this case in Mekhvadzor village. We have done clearance there, but we had to stop clearance in 2004 because there simply wasn't the money to get the job done. And one of the biggest challenges that we face isn't clearing mines. The biggest challenge that we face is generating interest, significant interest, particularly from private donors in the areas outside the traditional Soviet oblast where the Lachin Corridor sits. getting private donations to get the job done. That is our biggest issue. We have staff, we have equipment, we have teams, we have the motivation, we have the skills, we have everything that we need. What we need is the last tranche of funding to get the job finished. And can I just give these guys a quick plug? Because I think what they're doing for us right now is amazing, because what they're essentially doing is they're giving people access. So when people think about minefields, maybe they'll think about 20 years ago this year, Princess Diana walking through the minefields. Maybe they'll think about how that started generating interest in changing the way the world thinks about the use of landmines, this indiscriminate, victim-initiated weapon, which really impacts civilians more than it ever has the military. They're giving people access. So when people think about landmines, what they might think about these things, they might think about how terrible it is, but there's a sense of distance between them and that problem. What these guys are doing is they're giving people on the street here in Yerevan, they're giving people sitting at home, they're giving them access, they're giving them an opportunity to make a difference, and every donation does make a difference. So where there's a single minefield, there's a finite problem, that people can be part of that story. And if it wasn't for One Armenia assisting us in this fundraising campaign, it just makes the problem so much harder to solve. And the work that they're doing is exceptional. And I think the fact that they've already raised 40% of that target is testament to just how infectious their commitment and their energy and their enthusiasm to ridding Nagorno-Karabakh of landmines genuinely is.
And I wanted to ask you, so what are the problems or that you come across? Given sometimes Karabakh becomes a priority, other times Karabakh is forgotten more or less on fundraising, security issues, unless since April everyone's more interested in Karabakh than last year, let's say. So with landmines, because people are ready to donate to Nagorno-Karabakh when it comes to the army, when it comes to security issues, but with landmines, are they considered part of the whole security package that people, or road building or hospital building? Where are landmines in connection to all those other issues that people are happy and ready to donate?
That's a really good question, because even for myself, I knew about the Halo Trust, I knew that they were in Stepanakert, but I didn't really put two and two together and think, oh yeah, it's landmines in this area that they're clearing, obviously. And what we found is that people are willing to donate to Artsakh, but they don't automatically know that landmines are an issue, and you can't really imagine the way that it can affect someone on a day-to-day basis in the same way that they can with cross-border shootings and war. And with One Armenia, we tend to focus on projects that have sustainability. And we decided to take on the landmine problem and make it, raise awareness around it, because it's something that is affecting people on a day-to-day basis, and it is a threat to their lives in the same way that cross-border shootings are a threat to people's lives. And while there's a lot of attention on the war, there's not that much attention on landmines. And some of the feedback we've had from our community is that people just weren't aware. And
this is something we can do something about.
Exactly.
We cannot stop snipers, crossfire, borders.
Right, and this we can actually, people, $10, $50, whatever it is, will actually make a difference to clearing the area. And while we're working on one particular minefield around the village of Mervazor, we're hoping through this campaign we'll raise awareness around the issue, and hopefully more donations will come in for this area where there's no funding, that Ash already mentioned. So it's kind of bringing the point home of this is something we can do something about, and One Armenia has taken that role to make it, public and take people to the minefield, essentially. Yes,
so this is so I kind of now have this dissonance, because it's definitely something that we can do something about, and on the other hand, are people thinking that the war is not over yet? April was unexpected. Anything unexpected can happen next. For example, especially with Lachin, we don't even know if we're keeping it or giving, if it's what's going to happen. It's a disputed territory. Why should we demine Lachin? That's it.
Because there's people living there. Right now, there are people living there. There are people with families. There are people with lives and dreams. Landmines inhibit access. They inhibit economic development. They stop people from getting on with their lives. And the removal of landmines is that foundation of safety and security is essential. And it's a humanitarian imperative. It's a base level. And we need to bring people, give them the opportunities just to bring them back up to that base level. And, you know, the people in Karabakh are as economically deprived, as needy and as deserving as any community I've come across anywhere in the world. And they need help and support. And there is an opportunity to give people that foundation of safety and security, and I think that's essential.
Ash, a couple of quick questions. I think these are myths, or maybe they're not, and I would need you or ask you to kind of tell me if this is true. So after the ceasefire, Armenia never received a general map of where the mines were, and another thing, that mines actually move. So if we even had that map or coordinates of where the mines could have been, we would, at this point, it wouldn't really make a difference, because they would have, with landslides or change, they kind of move. Are these myths, or that these are true? These are true information.
We do have some form of military maps of Armenian positions. We do not have maps of former positions from Azerbaijan. The best information that we do have is from the locals living in the community. They know where the mines are. They know where accidents have been occurring. They know where animal accidents are, or members of their own family. They live in this area. They know where these areas are. They get us to a start point. And from there, we systematically investigate that ground and return it back into safe and productive use. So every square meter is meticulously, systematically checked. So yes, mines do move. It does happen. But we have been doing this internationally for nearly 3 decades now, so we know what it looks like when soil is moved. Yes. We are essentially conducting an archaeological investigation of a former military position and making it safe for the general public.
See, another question is that another question is that I was going to ask you about U.S. aid funding and why Lachin is not included. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
So Ash, I know that the Hello Trust is US aid funded, and however, in this case, you need to resort to fundraising to take care of Lachin. Why is that? If you could explain a little bit. I mean, I can guess, but.
Well, the thing with the US government is first of all, they have done more for solving the world's landmine problem than all other countries combined. The funding that they have put into solving this problem is exceptional, and their continued support since 2001 of us removing the landmine problem within the traditional Soviet Oblast boundary is nearly complete. It's about 97% of the way there, but we are restricted in where we can deploy those teams. So outside of that Soviet Oblast boundary, we are presently unable to send teams because of the politically sensitive nature that surrounds that. And we need to be very sensitive to that.
No, I would say, and I was reading some time ago, and I promise this is my last question, at least to you, some time ago, that Armenia has more deminers than relatively other countries. Is this true? It's like you are not only employing these people, you're also training them. So let's say by 2020, if Karabakh's demined, there's no mining problem, what would happen of these people who've been working for you for so many years and have all this experience?
Well, this is a problem that we faced in other countries. So 2 years ago, I was leading the Mozambique program when it declared itself mine-free after 22 years of work. And what we did for our staff was provide them with vocational training, provide them with information and resources that they need so that they can live a productive life outside of the Mine Action Centre. Now, staff from Nagorno-Karabakh are internationally very well respected. They're already being used to train and assist with Halo training courses in other countries, so there would be opportunities potentially in other Halo programs globally to get involved. There might be opportunities with other organizations internationally to get involved in the global goal of having a mine-free world by 2025. And for those who choose to stay at home, then what we would look to do is to provide them with additional skills, additional ways to get back into the job market. And what we will give them, for some of them, will be 20 years of experience in working in some of the more remote parts of Karabakh, places that most people don't even see. We will give them some internal skills, so we will give them the confidence to be able to do things that perhaps they didn't think they could do before. Social networking opportunities. There's a lot that we give as part of employment with the Halo Trust, other than just a monthly salary.
And I was watching that video One Armenia made it. Well, you posted it on March 8th. And so many women are involved, and that video was beautiful. Now, I also wanted to ask you, is other programs in Karabakh that One Armenia is involved with currently?
Currently, no, but we've done programs in the past in the same Lachin region as well. And with this program that we're doing with Halo, we were actually looking to do some sort of an agricultural follow-up program where we could, I don't know, do beekeeping or greenhouses or whatever it was. Right now there's no commitment from
Bring on the buzz, that was.
We did consider it because bees aren't affected by landmines, but we're going to get rid of the landmines so we can actually do more with the land. There are a number of organisations working in Artsakh, but we aren't currently collaborating with any of them. But even today I had a conversation with someone who may be interested in doing dried fruit in the area. So ideally we'll bring in some, One Armenia or any other organisation that's interested in that area will bring in some sort of a agricultural sustainable program to create jobs, because as Ash mentioned, these people are now highly skilled, and it would be a waste for them not to have anything to do once in 2020 there's no more landmines, fingers crossed. And hopefully by then there'll be a number of organisations working there, whether it's, I don't know, IT companies or agriculture or whatever it is. If we can play a part in that, if One Armenia can play a part in that, then we absolutely will.
And if I want to donate, where do I go to?
onearmenia.org/campaign.
Thank you very much. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. And, well, what was it? onearmenia.org/campaign. And everyone who's interested and who is thinking about donating, I repeat, it's onearmenia.org/campaign. I'm sure you'll find the donate button there. Stay with CivilNet. Thank you for joining us.